friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
It's a Friday, time for Home Repairs and Solutions with Mark and Mary. Brought to you by Spring Mountain Air Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amana dealer. And now here are your hosts, Mary Pearson and Mark Withers. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
And good morning to our listeners.
It's maybe a cloudy day outside, but it's a beautiful day in the Ozarks anyway.
That's right. The
Yes, it
sun
is.
always shines right here on Friday morning.
Yes,
in
it
this
does.
studio right here.
Right here. It's always a sunny day.
Yep,
Have lots of happy, smiling faces.
we do.
You know, and Dan and I were talking before we came on the air when you were out for a minute, Mark, and we were talking about, I remember my grandpa, he lived to be up into his 90s and early 90s. And I spent a lot of time with him growing up and stuff and loved my grandma and grandpa just dearly. And I remember my grandpa always, I never remember him having a bad day or being down or sad. He was always smiling and happy and stuff. And I remember growing up, I heard him say many, many times that every day you wake up and you're still here, it's a blessing.
Yeah,
And he
that's right.
lived that way. And I truly think that he believed that. So
That's true.
that's how it is to be in the Ozarks. Every day you wake up and you're alive in the Ozarks, it's a blessing.
That's right.
And it's going to be a good day.
It is.
So-
I know a
absolutely.
guy that said every morning he wakes up, he looks in the newspaper. If his in this picture's not on the that he
Obituary?
passed on, he said, I'm going to have a good day." The obituary, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't see yourself in the obituary, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
Yeah,
There's lots of ways to look at it.
there is.
you know?
There is. You appreciate every day. It's just like what I went through last year. I always appreciated every day I had, but when I came out of that open heart surgery, I really appreciated
It's a
every
whole
day.
different
Yeah.
It's
perspective.
a whole
isn't
different,
it?
yeah, it
really
is.
is.
And it's sad sometimes that it takes something like that
Mm-hmm.
to wake us up.
Sure.
But hey, every day is beautiful.
It is, especially here in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And now things are green and I see these beautiful, I guess they're azalea bushes some people have in their yard, these beautiful red bushes, and I just
Yeah.
think they're gorgeous. I love them. And so I like it when, things are blooming out and it's just nice.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like that's blooming are I guess they're dandelions in my
Oh
yard.
boy, yeah.
Now, my youngest granddaughter loves those things, and so she helps spread the seeds because she likes to
yes.
pick those and make a wish and then blow that stuff all over the place. So my lawnmower was broke, and I didn't have a lawnmower for a while, and my yard looked it and needed mowed desperately. So my son got the lawnmower fixed and brought it back, and so I was like, yay, and I got the yard all mowed. I think it was Wednesday night. Got done about 7 o'clock or so. Got all those suckers mowed down, and everything. I went, this looks really good. I got back home. I had to pick up my granddaughter at 3 o'clock on Thursday from school. Went back home, and I could not believe how many of those dandelions were back.
Oh,
in
I
less
know
than
it.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Thinking now, boy, those are tough little suckers.
We're back. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So, so now I have them standing in the yard again. I'm like, dang it.
Oh, I know it. And my little granddaughter, Callie, she was over the other night, and we were out in the yard, and she seen those, and so she goes over and picks one. And so, now Grandpa showed her how you can blow those, and
Oh, yeah.
she thinks that's the coolest thing
Oh,
there
yeah.
was. So now they will be all over the yard.
Oh, they will be.
So,
You will be, they will be prolific in your
Oh,
yard
yeah.
now. That'll be great.
Yeah, it's just amazing how quick stuff like that grows.
I couldn't
You know-
believe they were. I mean, not only were they back up, they had the little seed pods on them, all
Yeah.
bloomed out and everything in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mow the yard every day.
If we could get, just think, if we could get our gardens, our vegetables and everything
To grow like
like
weeds.
that, wow! I mean, wouldn't this country it'd be so abundant?
We
with
could
food.
feed the
I mean,
world.
yeah,
We could feed the world.
new crop every couple days.
I'm telling you, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
Well, the old saying goes, he's growing like a weed, and now you know what they literally,
Yeah.
weeds grow fast.
Yes,
Yeah,
they do.
they do.
Sometimes grow right out of concrete. You ever see a weed grow out
Oh
of the
yeah,
concrete?
or out of the side of a rocky bluff or something. It's like, what are they
Yeah.
attached to? There's nothing there. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But that's a great Ozarks.
That was my observation this week. I was so excited I got them mowed down, and by golly, the next day they were back up. I thought, okay.
Well, I made the mistake of, not really a mistake, but my, I guess this was year before last, or no, it was last year, had the backyard redone and reseeded. Well, the guy who did it did a wonderful job, but he sowed like annual rye. And so he'd get the grass to come up quick. Well,
Quick.
this year, all I had was weeds back there then. So I put
Oh,
about 20
no.
pounds of grass seed and lawn starter all over my yard. I don't know that there's been any new grass growth, but let me tell you, the weeds loved that lawn starter, and they had just absolutely gone nuts in my backyard. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's better than dirt. You
Better
got
than
something
dirt.
green back there,
that's true.
whether it's a weed or whatever.
Now, I
but-
had all these little, they look like little clover deals, but they got those little purple flowers
yeah.
on it.
I
They
had.
were just
oh,
everywhere.
yeah. Now I have I don't have those in Springfield, but at the lake, those are really thick this year down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And actually, my neighbor last weekend has a spray rig that he puts on the back of his gator, and he ran around, and so he came over and sprayed all that stuff for me and everything. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hopefully that will take care of some of that. But I
There you
had
go.
that really thick at the lake this year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know
why,
what those are
but-
called, but
I don't
but
either.
Anyhow, boy, they took over my backyard. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, my granddaughter thinks they're flowers, so she picks them and wants me to put them in a vase.
Yeah,
So we do that. So anyway,
There
I
you
have
go.
those pretty weeds in my house
that's all
for
right.
short periods of time, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's all good.
No doubt, no doubt. So, well, let's give some numbers out in case somebody wants to call and talk to us. This is just a Mark and Mary show today.
Just a Mark and Mary show. We can talk
So-
about anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, we can. So if you'd like to get a hold of us, call us at 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056, or you can send us a text at 417-838-3192, and we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Or let us know what you're doing for your mom for Mother's Day.
There you go.
That's always a interesting time of the year.
Yeah.
You know, that is this Sunday.
It is.
So, yeah. If you haven't done anything yet, you're running out of time.
I'm running out of time.
That's why I was looking at you, Mark.
No, and I know my mom's listening. My mom lives up in Harrisonville, and she listens every week. And so I did get her a card in the mail, and so yeah, she should have that. So yeah.
Yep. I sent
How
my
about
mom.
just calling your mom?
Well, I'm sure I'll do that too. Yeah,
I wish I could call mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bet you do too, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I sent my mom a card, and then I'm going to give her a call on Sunday, and then next weekend after the show on Friday, I'm going to go with my parents up to see my brother up by Kansas City and watch my niece and my parents' granddaughter, of course, go through her college graduation. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
excited
great.
about that. So this weekend I'm going to be at the lake. My kids are going to come down and spend time with me down there, and then next weekend I'll spend the weekend with my mom and dad up at my brother's. So,
there you go.
but I will call her on Sunday
Yeah,
to wish her happy Mother's Day. I mean, a card is nice, but a phone call's
but a
always
phone call's
better.
always better.
Always better.
That's right. That's for sure. So there is a lot going on. This time of the year, we have like tonight. I know there's the high school graduations have started.
Yes.
My niece will graduate tonight from Central, and so we will go to that. And there's a lot of graduation parties going on. We have a big party planned for her tomorrow at Springfield Lake. All kinds of things. And so I know folks are trying to get things done around the house. They're mowing, weed eating, and pruning up the things, because you're going to have company, this, that, and
Yep.
the other. So it's that time of year when we start doing a lot of work outside. It's crazy. Last Friday we sat here and watched out the windows, watched
it
it
was
snow.
snowy.
Yeah, and
Snowing, big snowflakes.
yeah, and today, I mean, it's a little cool out there this morning. And
little.
we've had some rain, but the weather's getting nice, and everybody wants to get outdoors and start working in the garden, working in the yards, planting their flowers and stuff. And what a better place to live than right here in the Ozarks, where you can get out and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm hoping with all this rain and this little bit of cooler weather, we had everything bloomed out. So now maybe that will knock down some of the mold and that kind of thing. And these people, a lot of people are having a lot of allergy issues. So maybe that'll knock some of that out of the way, and
Yeah.
that would be helpful as well. But
And, I'm sure one thing that folks can do if they have allergies that will help is call Spring Mountain Air and have you
They
all come out
can.
and clean their ducts.
Yep.
They can change their furnace filters. That always helps. And so there's things like that that they can do to help for the inside.
That's true. And you know what else we have? And I was going to kind of mention this today since we're just kind of talking about whatever. But, oftentimes we'll have people will give us a call and they will have either one or two issues or maybe both. They'll turn their air conditioner on and next thing you know, they have water dripping out of the drain pan and that type of thing into their furnace room. Or they have a funny odor or funny smell. And we have a solution for that. And we've been putting these in for our clients for a couple years, and it's a pan pad treatment. And what you do is you put that in that drain pan. Because what happens, that drain pan, is you have, when you have hot, humid air in your home, and then you start pulling that out, and then it goes through the cooling coil in the furnace, and then that sweats and drips into that drain pan.
Right.
Well, that is that water that sits there gets real stale and stagnant. It can be slimy. It's a great place for mold and bacteria and things to grow. Well, as that grows, and then some of that gets pushed down into that drain line, that 2-inch PVC drain line that drains that water out. Well, that will clog that up. It'll clog up the pan, and that's what causes that to back up and drip into your furnace closet or furnace room. So. What that can do, depending on where your air conditioner is located, some people have them in the ceiling. Their air conditioners are in the ceiling or in the attic or whatever. Well, if you have that happen, then that water drips down. You're probably not going to notice that until you see water spots on your ceiling or damage on your ceiling or something.
Right.
It also can cause, like I said, lots of odor issues and that type of thing. Well, we have it's just called a pan pad treatment, and we put it in that drain pan, and what that does is it has a type of ammonia in there, and it's not straight ammonia, but it's a chemical mix of some kind or whatever, and it kills the mold and bacteria and the algae and stuff in that drain pan and in the drain line, so it keeps that drain line and stuff clear and keeps that from collecting in that drain line, and then it also has a coating on it that's kind of like soap in a way, so that it doesn't stick to the drain pan.
Right.
So whatever starts accumulating in there will not stick to that pan, and it will go ahead and slide out and go out of that drain, which is the way it's supposed to operate. And then it has a corrosion inhibitor on it as well, because if you have a metal drain pan and you have water sitting in that drain pan and you have all this stuff growing in there, then it's going to cause that drain pan to rust out and eventually fail. And then you're going to have to be replacing that. So we have these. What it does is when especially if we come out and we do preventive maintenance for you, then we'll make sure that all that's clean, that we'll blow out that drain line and make sure that pan, everything's clean. We can put one of these inside that pan. Then how it works is when it gets wet, so the first time that you pull some humidity through there and through that drain and water in that drain pan, it will activate it, and it releases a really strong dose the first time it's activated, kind of like when you put chemicals in a swimming pool to keep the algae and stuff from going and keep the water clean and clear and all that. It's similar to that. And so then what it will do is it releases that a little bit over time after it initially gets wet, and then it will keep all that clear and cleaned out for at least 6 months. So it usually lasts an entire cooling period for this type for our part of the country here. And so then what you do with that, it also has a something in it that causes it's a real clean smell. So that you don't have that musty smell or that odor smell or that bacteria smell, and that you just have a really clean smell. And of course, all that's hooked to your system, and it all goes through your ductwork and all that. So, it keeps your house smelling clean, and it keeps all that. That is the number one repair or service issue, is a clogged drain line. That is typically the number one reason that someone calls. So this can relieve all that. It can take care of that. It's very inexpensive. I think they're $28.95 or something.
Wow.
So it's not an expensive thing that
Sure.
you have to. It's not an expensive add-on or anything like that. And so the clients that we've been using these with, every year gets those replaced, because it really makes a big difference in keeping that system cleaned out and making sure it works right for you.
And like you say, if your unit's in the attic, it can sure cost you a lot more than $29-30 worth of problems.
Right. And typically, Now a lot of people, if you have your system, on the main floor or something, a lot of times you'll notice the water a lot quicker
Sure.
because especially if you have a closet, people, will use that closet to store mops or brooms or whatever. So
Right.
you're in and out of that closet
Yeah.
more often. If it's up in the attic, you don't get up there.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you find out, like you said, then you have an expensive water damage situation. So
Right.
we can alleviate all of that for people. So that's just something that I wanted to put out there. I don't think I've talked about that on the air before. So
No, I don't think
it's
so.
something that I just wanted to let people know we have available in case they're interested.
And something else that we tend to neglect, if you live in a house where you have a crawl space and your condensation line, that that's comes out the foundation.
Right.
We all see water dripping out of
Right.
it, which it should be.
Yes.
And not standing in a pan like you were saying. But a lot of times that line gets neglected. If you've been under the house, or if who knows, the cable guy or whoever may have been under there, knock that line down. If you see it when you're running the air conditioner and you happen to be outside, whether you're mowing the yard or whatever, and you don't see any condensation coming out of that line, you need to check it.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not sagged and clogged up, and that's just a little bit of maintenance that we should do because it can cause some damage.
It can, and something else that we've seen once in a while is depending on where it's coming out of your home. Some people, they might have a flower bed or something there where that's coming out, and that's okay. What we have seen that you don't want to do is we've had people try and bury the end of that drain line in the flower bed. That is not a good idea. That has to be exposed so that water can come out of there and drip out of there like it's supposed to. So we have had to go out before and actually cut off the end of the drain line or do something to it, and it has to be left exposed and not buried in some dirt or something like that,
Sure.
because then that just clogs up the end of it, and then that water can't drain out of there.
Can't
So
drain out.
it's okay to have a flower bed or something there. That is not an issue at all. And as a matter of fact, then some of the water running out of there can just kind of water the
Yeah.
flower bed for you, and it's okay to do that. It's
Yeah.
but just don't bury the end of that line.
Right. Now, if you use the chemical treatment in the pan, will that harm if you have any plants out? Should you not put any plants outside where that line comes out if you're using the chemicals in it?
They're saying that that's probably not going to be an issue, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's probably a really good question.
Okay.
But I mean, what you're getting out of there is algae and mold spores and that kind of thing, which is a natural type thing that would be going into your flower bed
Right.
as well. So
Okay.
it's supposed to be something that is not going to be harmful to the
Okay.
environment. So I would say it's not going to be harmful to your flower beds if you
Okay.
have some there. And you're not going to you're not going to get like gallons and gallons of
Sure,
water out of it
yeah.
anyway. You're going to get,
Yeah.
it should be, depending on how much humidity you're having to pull out of
Yeah.
your home. You should see like some coming out of there, but it's not going to be like
Yeah.
gushing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now, I have seen it before, if we have some really, really humid weather and the AC runs a lot. I've seen a pretty good stream coming out of there
Yeah.
before. But like you say, normally it's just a pretty steady drip, that comes out of there.
or if
So,
you've been gone, like if you've been gone for 2 weeks or whatever, and some people turn their air conditioner off in the hot weather. We don't really recommend that. We just recommend turn it up. Make sure that let it run so that it's still getting most of the humidity out, because if you turn it off and then you come back from vacation or something and turn it on, then it has to work extremely hard to pull all that humidity back out of your home again, and then you will see a pretty good amount of water coming out of that tube then, because you've got to pull all that stuff out of there. But the best thing to do is just turn it up to, if I'm not at the lake during the week or something, I don't turn my unit off. I'll turn it up to maybe 80. And it will still run enough that'll keep the humidity out of there. And I have wood floors and a lot of wood down there, so I don't want it all getting warped and buckled and stuff
Right.
on me. So, you can do that, and it doesn't take very much to run it at that level.
Sure.
And then when I get down there, I can turn it down to wherever I'm comfortable, 72 or wherever I want it, and
Right.
it doesn't take very long at all, and it cools down right away and stay comfortable. So
That's always been a kind of a pet peeve with me. I mean, I see people, they do it in the summertime, they do it in the winter. They will, they think they're saving bunches of energy, and now if you're going to be gone 2 or 3 months, I understand, but for 2 or 3 days or whatever, they'll turn, it can be 100 degrees outside and they'll turn the AC off because they don't want it running.
Yeah.
And same way in the winter, they'll turn the heat way down so it gets real cold in there. but the amount of energy it takes to bring that room back to the temperature
It takes
that's
a lot of
comfortable for
energy.
you, it does. And so, I believe I asked Nathan this question one time too, and he said you should set the thermostat within 5 degrees normally. If so if you leave and you normally in the summer keep it on 75, set it at 80. That's
That's fine.
That's fine.
Sure, absolutely.
And it won't take so much, because you got to realize not only if you got your furniture, your carpet, everything absorbs
Curtains,
that temperature.
everything
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
And so that all has to cool back down or warm back up, whichever.
Whichever, yeah.
And it takes a while.
It does. It
Yep.
does.
Yep, that's for sure. 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or if you want to send us a text, 417-838-3192. And we did get a text.
We did?
Yes, we did. And it's Brendan from Lebanon.
Okay.
And he says, hey, Mark, Mary, and a big hello to Dan. So he said hello to Dan there. And but he was mentioning that he's getting ready to move into a new house.
Okay.
And when it rains, water seeps in through the concrete in the floor. And how do you stop that from happening? Dirt is up against the concrete pad. Is that a problem?
Is it a basement?
Well, that's what I don't know, if it's a basement or a crawl space. Either way you go, if you can keep the water away from the foundation, whether it's a basement or a crawl space house, you're better off. I actually, in my house that I live in, I started having an issue in one of my bathrooms where the door started dragging. And now we put new tile in there, so the bottom of the door is really close. But all of a sudden, we start having this issue, and got to checking, and the guttering on that corner of the house had been, the water wasn't getting away from the house. It was running back against the foundation, caused a wet spot underneath that house, and caused the floor to swell just enough to make that door drag.
Stick, yeah.
Yeah, so by getting the water away from that foundation and keeping my foundation vents open, the moisture has dried out enough, the floors went back, and my door's opening and closing again. So it's so important to check all your gutters. Check in my situation, the splash block had sunk and was leaning backwards just
the wrong
a little
direction.
bit. Yeah, and so it was letting water just run right back against the foundation and get in. So that's the best prevention of all, is to get that water away. If the dirt's up against a concrete pad, and that pad, for some reason it shouldn't, but a lot of times they'll settle, might slope towards the house just a little bit. Yes, that's a place where water can run right and right down to the foundation. So anytime you can keep water away from your foundation, from your footings, whether it's a basement or crawl space, you're a lot better off to do that.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, Dan says we have to take a break.
Wow, first half hour is gone already.
Already. So I guess we're going to take a break.
I think we're better.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. Murder charges are facing a man from Duggansville in the shooting death of his son. 65-year-old Howard Ingram Sr. is charged with second-degree murder, armed criminal action, unlawful possession of a firearm, and unlawful use of a firearm in the death of 41-year-old Howard Ingram Jr. The victim was shot in the head and was flown to a hospital in Springfield, where he later died. A man is under arrest for promoting prostitution after allegedly trying to transport a 14-year-old runaway from Springfield to St. Louis to have her work as a prostitute. 36-year-old Theodis Thomas is being held on a $500,000 bond. Thomas had been stopped for speeding on I-44 in Webster County when the girl told an officer about the plan. And a traffic crash north of Joplin has claimed the life of a man from Neosho. 69-year-old Gary Maddox died when his car strayed across the center line on Highway 96 and smashed head-on into a tractor-trailer. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
$45 per application. That's all. $45 is the average charge per application for Green Lawn Fertilizer to come to your home and fertilize your lawn. No trips to the big box store. No guessing how many square feet. No walking around in circles in your yard. $45 to have it done right by professionals. What are you waiting for? Call the professionals at Green Lawn Fertilizer and let them do it for you. Hi, I'm Kirk Elmquist. For a free estimate, call Green Lawn Fertilizer, 831-5931. That's what I did.
And the Cardinals Cardinals are the Texas League champions here in 2012.
The Springfield Cardinals are back at Hammons Field for their 9th season. Come out to the ballpark every Friday night for Friday Night Fireworks, presented by AM Pyrotechnics. The future of Cardinals baseball is right here, right now. Visit SpringfieldCardinals.com or call 417-863-2143 and get your tickets today. Escape to Cardinals baseball.
Hi, folks. Tim Keithley for Morning Line. Monday morning, we'll brief you on the local news over the weekend, talk about the Sunday talk shows, and we'll be giving away a pair of tickets to see The Great Gatsby at Warrenburg's Campbell 16 Movie Theater. We welcome your phone calls, as always. News, traffic, weather, Morning Line. Weekdays 7 to 10 on AM 560 KWTO.
Honor the life of someone you love and miss at Lost and Found's 4th Annual Balloon Release and 5K Run Walk. The balloon release will be held Thursday, May 23rd at Hammons Field at 6:15 p.m., followed by the 5K Run Walk at 7 at Jordan Valley Park. To register for the event or purchase a balloon, visit lostandfoundozarks.com or call 865-9998. All proceeds support Lost and Found's grief support services to children, young adults, and their families in Southwest Missouri.
In times of joy, in moments of grief, we are there. When the world looks for truth, broadcasters come through, even when all else fails. Today, with more ways than ever to experience the moments that transform our lives, Americans still choose broadcast radio and television more than all other media combined. And our web and social sites are among the most visited sites in our daily lives.
Once I bring you the video, do not go outdoors here in Ocean City right now.
When important moments happen, both big and small, we're the first informers to history. We are the local broadcasters of radio and television, reaching more people, touching more lives.
Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and locally owned and operated KTXR, KWTO AM and FM, and KBFL AM and FM.
For today, we do see cloudy skies with a brief shower and perhaps a rumble of thunder. High of 67, cloudy for tonight, low of 48. Those clouds give way to sunny skies, but there is a chance for a thunderstorm again tomorrow, high of 70, low of 38 tomorrow night. Plenty of sunshine, rather cool for your Sunday, high of 66 for your Mother's Day. Sunny and warmer heading into Monday, high 78. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And you're listening to Home Repairs and Solutions with Mark and Mary. Brought to you by Spring Mountain Air Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amani dealer. And once again, Mary Pearson and Mark Withers for the second half of the show.
Welcome back.
Good to be back.
It's always good to be back right here at KWTO.
That's right.
You know, we have a caller.
We do. I think we better talk to Joe Holden on here in Springfield. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes. Excuse me, my voice is a little hoarse. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Would you explain about this new thermostat called the Nest, N-E-S-T? That's a thinking thermostat that eliminates a lot of your problems about raising it up, turning it down. It'll think on its own accord. It's called the Nest, Nest.
Joe, I don't know about that one. So.
Well, it's new, and boy, it is terrific. I mean, it'd take me an hour to explain what all it can and can't do, but you should look into that. It's the latest thing. And, you know, you're talking about having to raise yours up and lower it down and everything. It'll take care for you. It does its own thinking.
Wow.
It takes over your house and thinks for you.
Wow.
You'll have to ask Nathan about that.
The Nest, N-E-S-T, Nest.
I will. Actually.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Joe.
And I'll be listening.
Okay.
Thank
you, Joe. say something to my son about that. He probably already knows about that stuff. I don't always know about the newest technology that comes out because that's not really my part of the company most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'll ask him about that because that would be interesting. I don't know how it thinks on its own.
Takes over the house and does all the thinking. See, I'm thinking instead of NEST, it's WIFE.
Yeah, wife.
Now, I didn't see.
I don't know.
I didn't see a whole lot of laugh out of you on that one, Mary. But
Gee, I wonder why, Mark.
I was wondering if a thing on the phone could have cooked cornbread.
Well, yeah, hey, that's a good. Yeah,
That takes over the house. I wonder if, can you just put in your order for dinner?
Yeah, but that, hey.
But technology, I mean, there's so much stuff
it.
coming out and so many things going on anymore. And it's
Yeah.
just, there's so many apps. I mean, you can do a lot of things with your phone now and turn up the temperature. And you can do all kinds of things from your, on your home from your phone.
Sure, yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me that they would come up with something like that. I just can't figure out how it would think for itself unless it controls everything based on humidity levels or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, that's interesting.
But I'll ask Nathan if he's heard about it.
Sure. Yeah.
See what that is.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like I say, with the technology we have nowadays, who knows?
It changes daily.
It does.
Sure does.
It does.
I mean, you're talking to someone that still has an old flip phone.
Well, you're talking to somebody that just soon still have my old bag phone. That's how you know.
Oh, I know. Those worked great, didn't they?
Oh, they did.
That you didn't have any problems with bag phones, but all you could do was talk on them.
Yeah. Sometimes I
simple is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my son kind of bugs me a lot. He's like, "Mom, are you ever going to get a phone that's like in this century?" And I'm like, "Well, no, unless I have to."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. And speaking of phones, 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or we're high tech around here. You can send us a text at 417-838-3192.
That's
Love
how
to hear
high
from
tech
you.
we are.
We are. I'm telling you. That's about the top of the chain right there.
It is. It is. And it took us almost 2 years to figure that out.
I know. So, but we love
We're
to
not
hear
real
from you.
fast, but we're consistent.
That's right. We're here.
We're here every Friday.
Every Friday. That's true. So, but technologies took over, so many different things. For instance, appliances. I go buy appliances for our new homes and stuff. And, it's amazing what's just out there and the dishwashers and the stoves, ranges and stuff, what they will do for you. That used to be back years ago, you turned the knob on, you cooked, and now everything is so different. They save you energy, and I mean that's what we all
they
strive
do.
to do
They
is save
they do.
energy, and it just amazes me every time I go looking for something like that.
I think one of the neatest inventions for an oven was those self-cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome. I actually did that last weekend. I was kind of looking around and I thought, I wonder when the last time I cleaned this oven, and it wasn't real bad, but I like to keep mine pretty clean. And so I thought, well, I'll just do that. So I just set it for self-cleaning. While it was doing that, I was working out in the yard and doing other things and cooled off and came down and just wiped it all out. It looks brand new again inside.
Sure.
And I remember when Paul and I first were married and we lived in apartments and everything, so they didn't have the most high-tech appliances anyway. But I remember having to go in and clean that with that oven cleaner stuff you sprayed on, and you had to wear a gas mask because it'd about kill you, and you'd have to wear rubber gloves up to your armpits so you didn't get any on your skin and burn. I mean, just horrible stuff. So to me, those self-cleaning ovens are pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
I like them.
Yep, I do too. And the way we cook, we have the convection and all kinds of different things.
Have
a lot
you ever
of it
used
I
one
don't
of those?
understand. I never have.
I don't have one either. I've always been kind of fascinated by a convection oven and if everything tasted the same, because doesn't it cook faster or something?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think it does.
I don't have one, but anyway, I've always kind of thought that'd be neat if you could cook a turkey in an hour instead of 5.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if it still tasted good and juicy and all that, so.
Yeah, that's it's technology. Like I say, it's all out there.
I might have one of them one of these days. You never know.
Yeah, never know. So
one of these days, that might be all you can buy.
Well, that's true. It might be. So, and something else I wanted to pass along to everybody. We've talked, and matter of fact, we had Kevin Cross on from Cross Tech Siding back, several weeks ago, and we have had more comments on our new houses that we've built and used his siding. It's just
Really?
unbelievable. So I encourage folks to, if you're out and about driving around this weekend looking at new homes, go to Schuler Ridge out in Republic. We got 2 houses there. One of them is under contract and sold, but the other one is still available. Love to sell it to you. But
Has
take
that
a look
siding?
at the siding. Yeah, both of them do. And we've had several people out there in the subdivision come to us and say, what is this? We love this siding.
Really?
And yes. And
Cool.
so I hadn't talked about that for a few weeks, so I wanted to be sure and pass that along to everybody to take a look at that.
Now, do you have a website or something where you list your houses or have pictures of your houses, or do you not do that?
I do have a Facebook page. It's DRC Properties Inc., I think is what it is. And I do have pictures of the siding and everything on there.
On the houses?
And I'm getting ready to take
There you
new
go.
pictures and update them and put them on there. So, but I think you can just type in DRC Properties and it'll take you to my Facebook page. But some really great comments on the siding.
Good deal. That's good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. And that way, maybe someone can't get out or something, or they have other plans, but they want to see it, then they can go to your Facebook page and see it and look at your pictures of your houses with that siding and stuff on it. But I'm sure it looks better if you could go out and actually see it
does.
in person.
And,
Pictures don't always do everything justice, but it would at least give you an idea of how it looks. And
great street appeal. It's bold and it looks really good. The window treatments, what they do around the windows, is just really rich looking. I mean, it's really good. Feel free to get out and walk up and
touch it.
Touch it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the one you sold, but the one that's still available.
Yeah. Oh, you can go touch the one we're sold. Well, we're not completely done. They haven't moved in yet.
Okay.
We're a few weeks away.
They're not moved in yet. All right.
Yeah, no. But feel free to get out and look at it, touch it, and see what you think of it. So I think all the comments we've had so far has been great.
Well, good. I'm excited that you guys are trying that and putting it on your home so people can actually see it physically on a house.
Yeah.
It's one thing to look at a strip of something. It looks totally different once it's, you have a whole house covered with
Absolutely.
it. So.
And, that brings up another point. It's that time of year where people are doing a lot of things inside the house to spruce it up. A coat of paint can make a place look totally different and new.
It sure will.
When you go into, and I learned this years ago, I ran the paint department for Meeks on East Sunshine. And so I went to several different paint schools and some training. And, the swatches that you get in the store are, they're basically just ink.
Right.
And they try to match that color
Right.
as close as possible. But sometimes they'll fade a little bit,
Sure.
Stuff. But when you look at those in the store, they can look totally different than when you get that home and put that paint on the wall.
I can tell you they always look different when
Yeah.
you get it home and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've
So-
done enough painting that it never looks the same as it did in the store.
And, you're looking at a small color swatch instead of, because when you get a full wall painted that color, you have to really be careful because something that doesn't look very dark on that swatch, when you get the whole wall painted that color, it can be really dark and it can dramatically change the look of a room, maybe more than what you want. And so I always recommend taking that color sample home before you buy,
Right.
and put it in that room and see how the light's going to affect it, daytime and night. I got a paint color in my office, matter of fact, that I painted my walls. It looks one color during the day, and if I'm there of an evening, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm. Can you now? Can do a lot of the paint places now? Can you buy like a little sample so you can paint a block on the wall and leave it for a few days and kind of look at it? You know, morning, evening, that kind of thing.
There's a lot of the paint stores that's doing that. They'll have a small can that might be a half pint, something that you can take and try an area on a wall before you buy. And
I've always been told that it's good to leave it there for a few days before you make your decision, because I guess after a few days or whatever, it's still curing out or something.
Yes,
I mean, it can feel dry to the touch, but it's not completely cured, so the color isn't exactly where it's going to be at the end of 2 or 3 days.
That's right.
And so leave it there for 2 or 3 days. Kind of look at it every day. Make sure that's the color that you want your whole wall, or maybe it's an entire room. Maybe it's not just the walls, but it's a whole room.
Right.
So you want to make sure that, you're going to be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So trust me, we made lots of paint mistakes initially when we first got married and didn't know what we were doing and thought, oh, this looks good, and went home and no, it did not look good.
Well, I think we've all done that at one time or another, and it's it's a common mistake that everybody makes.
Mm-hmm.
And so just if you're gonna do a spruce up job on your house, plan maybe the prior weekend before you're going to do it, painting a small spot. Leave it all week before you go into that big project and decide you're going to paint the whole house.
Absolutely.
Because your taste may change, or that color may change enough where you're just like, I don't think I really like this.
Or it doesn't go with your rug or your furniture or your trim or there's so many other things in your home that's not in that store when you're looking at that colored chip. So
exactly. That is true.
You want to make sure it all looks like it belongs together.
Yep, that's right. Very important. So 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056, or text us at 417-838-3192. Love to hear from you.
Yes, we would.
Yeah.
We like to talk to everybody.
We do.
Or anybody. Or everybody.
Anybody, everybody. Talk about whatever you want.
Whoever will talk to us.
That's right.
Absolutely. We were talking there a little bit at the break, and you were talking about your Greater Ozark Bluegrass Society.
Yeah.
And you have some exciting news. For people who've kind of been listening and been with us on the, follow us on the show, they know that you're involved in bluegrass and that type of thing. But there's something new and exciting going on with that.
There is. And first off, something really exciting that happened yesterday. We did our first Bluegrass in the Schools concert up at Bolivar, Missouri, at the school up there, where we had a band go in and actually educate the students on what bluegrass music is. And it had to be the Hillbenders. And they're a great young band that does a fantastic job. So they went in and we got that program started, which is one of our big goals that we've been trying to do for the last 2 years, is get this Bluegrass in Schools program going. But our real exciting news, and for everybody who comes to our meetings, we'll have a God's meeting tonight out at River Bluff Fellowship. And by the way, I want to say we have folks out at River Bluff that listens to the show. The pastor, Scott Watson out there, he listens to our show on Friday mornings. Most wonderful people out there ever was. So this is going to be a big announcement tonight, but I'm going to break the news right here this morning.
I think you should.
We have been approached by a TV station here in town to do a weekly TV program. And tentatively, we're calling it Ozarks Bluegrass, presented by the Greater Ozarks Bluegrass Society. And so we're actually going to start filming programs and probably get some footage tonight out there at the meeting. But the show should start airing in September. And it's going to be on Sunday nights, as far as we know right now. I don't know a time or anything yet, but we are so excited. The folks at, I believe it's KOZL, which is part of Color 10, and it's Channel 27, they approached us and said, hey, we love local programming. We want to know more about what you guys do. Can you provide us a program? And we'll, and it's working out really good. We're excited.
I would think so. I think that's great. That's great. I know that they're really doing a lot to try and promote local stuff and get local programming back in the area a little bit stronger. So I think, now is it going to be an hour-long show, a half hour? Do you know?
It'll just be a half hour.
Half-hour-long show, okay.
Yeah, and our goal is to bring quality entertainment to the Ozarks. Our bands that we're going to showcase on there are going to be top quality bluegrass bands, and then we're going to have some interesting stories about people from the Ozarks that has played for years and stuff, and it's just really going to be a neat program. So.
I think that is great. I can't wait until you get it all put together, and I want to see one of your programs and see. I'll bet it'll be. I think it'll be very well received here in the Ozarks.
Well, I think, and I have to agree with them, there's a need for our local programming.
There is.
We have a lot of talented people in the Ozarks, and not necessarily just in bluegrass music, what I do, but in all forms of music and entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of in the arts in general. And
We do.
I think it's great to have people showcased, and something that we're going to really try to stay away from. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean, I'm the biggest hillbilly that there ever was, but we're going to try to bring the stay more professional with it. And we don't want people that say from out of state coming in, they happen to see this, think, well, that's just a bunch of
Hicks.
Yeah. And because, especially in my kind of music, we'll go back to Deliverance was a big movie. Where,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And even one of my very favorite shows, the Beverly Hillbillies.
Sure.
That kind of portrayed our type of music as being, Hicks.
Hickish or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
But-
that's not really the way it is.
No, and what people need to remember is, as musicians, you are a professional at what you do. I mean,
Sure.
I couldn't pick up a banjo and play it or guitar. I thought that maybe I'd like to learn a guitar someday, but you
Yeah.
know, who knows? But I mean, that's not something that everyone can do. It does take someone with talent and ability or desire or all the above, and it is a professional
Sure.
person or professional group. So I can see what you're
Yeah.
saying about that is, that you are professionals and that you need to have the same respect as being a professional musician as anybody else in the musical field
Yeah.
has. So
Yeah, and so we're really excited. We appreciate the folks over at Channel 27 for taking interest in us and wanting to do this, and appreciate the folks out at River Bluff for letting us come in, because we're going to do a lot of our TV tapings out there, at
Okay.
our meetings and stuff like that, and all over the Ozarks. And so we're going to try to go to all kinds of different events, because I'm telling you, there's some wonderful talent that comes right out of this area. And
well, there always has been.
Yeah,
And some of them make it
exactly.
really big and get real big and famous. And,
Yeah.
some of them, they might not be as famous as others who've come out here, but they're still very, very good at what they
Sure,
do and
absolutely.
provide great entertainment.
Yeah.
So, now
Yep.
tell me about the school. If there is a school, if they're interested in having you guys come in and do this, how does all that work in a school type situation?
Well, what we usually do, if they contact us and are interested in our program, we'll sit down and specifically put together a program for their school. We'll go over our general, program that we do, and we'll tailor it to their school. A lot of schools want to do it for their elementary age
Okay.
kids. Some want to do it for the junior high or high school. We can do like a concert type setting. We can do like during the early part of the day where we have more of an instruction where we teach, hey, this is a mandolin and this is for the history of it and this is the guitar, whatever. And then that afternoon do an actual concert in their auditorium. So we can really work with the schools and do, tailor it to them, whatever they want.
I think that is a great idea, because you know what? Sometimes when they cut funding at schools and stuff, some of the things that they cut is the art.
Right.
They'll cut, art classes. They'll cut music. They'll cut back on music or whatever. And I think those are very, very important things for children to be exposed to. So I
Yeah.
think that's great that you've done that and are reaching out to schools to bring that back into the schools.
Well, thank you. And that's it's a part of living in this community that we love. And and that's what we do on this show. We try to talk about things that in businesses that are part of our community.
That's right.
And so I think this is so important, doing this. And not only, we go out and we play these concerts and stuff, but taking it to the kids in the schools and educating them, where these instruments come from, where this music came from, because
Yeah.
it is
Where else are they going to learn it?
Exactly.
So I think that's
Exactly.
great.
That's right. So
Well, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom. I don't know if she's listening. Sometimes they can get us, sometimes they can't. But anyway, Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
that's right. Happy Mother's Day to my mom listening up in Harrisonville. I know she's listening today, and to all the moms out there, and hope you have a great weekend.
I hope so too. And please come back next Friday. We'll be here.
That's right. We're heard every Friday morning from 10 to 11 right here on AM 560 KWTO.
I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in